Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is your Ram Sai. In this video, we are going to discuss the basics of ecology. First of all, what is ecology? Ecology is the study of relationship between the organisms and its surroundings and its interaction between them. The interaction which is happening between the organisms and with its surrounding is known as the ecology. The term ecology is given by the great scientist Ernest Haeckel in the year 1869. And the term ecosystem is the structural and functional unit of the ecology. So in this, the term ecology was coined by the scientist A.G. Tansley. Don't confuse between this ecology term and ecosystem term. Ecology is given by Ernest Haeckel and the term ecosystem is given by A.G. Tansley. And A.G. Tansley is the botanist. He gave in the year 1935. And the structure of ecosystem is split into two components. They are namely biotic components and the abiotic components. Let's come to the graphical representation of the ecosystem organization. Ecosystem organization comprises of organism level to biosphere level. In the organism level, the single individual will be there. After that, the population, the same species of the individual is made into many species, that is known as the population. The population is the group of individuals is known as the population of same individuals. And the thing is, after that, the different types of population मिलके community बनते हैं. The different types of population combine to form the community. And the different types of communities leads to the formation of ecosystem. Ecosystem is the formation of different types of communities. After that, the communities, the ecosystem is the different types of all the ecosystem मिलके biosphere form होता है. That means the different types of ecosystems are leads to the formation of biosphere. The biosphere is the life-giving place in the earth. The earth on the earth, the biosphere is the place where all the living organisms use it to live. And let's see individual. Individual is an organisms like human, cat, mouse, palm tree, gravel, tapeworm, cow, etc. are the different individuals. Only single organism is known as an individual. The species, group of living organisms of similar individuals is known as the species, and they are helped in exchanging the genes between them. And the population, the different individuals of same species or different population, the different species leads to the formation of population. They are geographically based and they are living in the particular area over the specified time. And what is communities? Communities is the formation of different population leads to the formation of communities. Example, grassland community is dominated by the grasses through many contain which contain herbs, trees, shrubs, etc. And ecosystem, as we know that communities, different communities leads to the formation of ecosystem. And it leads next the biosphere. The biosphere is termed as the zone of life on the earth which can capable of giving the oxygen for the living organisms, which has all the facilities which are useful for the life to survival in this region. And let's go for habitat. What is habitat? A physical environment in which the organism live is known as the habitat. It is also known as the address of an organism. And many habitats will lead to the formation of an environment. Environment is made up of different habitats. Example, in this habitat, the main point which differentiate the habitat and the ecological niche is a single habitat may common for many organisms. Many different types of organisms will form in the will live in the habitat, but in case of ecological niche, an ecological niche is the functional role and position of a species. That means the profession, the key terms we have to remember is profession, work or duty of an organism. Duty of an organism is known as ecological niche. Let's see, the no two species have the same ecological niche. No two species have same ecological niche, but in case of habitat, different types of species or more than one organism can have the same habitat. There is a main difference between these two terms. Let's come to the types of niche. There are two types of niche. They are fundamental niche and realized niche. Fundamental niche is the full range of environmental condition where the population can occupy without any limiting factors. That means there is a plenty of resources available in this niche for organism to survive. That means there is no competition between the organisms or within the organism, plenty of resources available to survive for the specific type of an organism. In this there is no competition, you just have to fix that there is no competition and a lot of abundant resources are available for the organism to survive in the specific in the fundamental niche. But in case of real life situation, fundamental niche may be present or may not be present. But in case of realized niche, the range of environmental condition actually the species lives, actually in the real life, realized niche is present. Realized niche is the particular smaller consideration and subset of the fundamental niche. It is smaller than the fundamental niche. That means the competition between the organism and within the organism of the species available are present in the realized niche. Let's see which one will be the bigger in size and which one will be the smaller in size. Fundamental niche, obviously there is no competition and there is abundant limiting. There is no limiting factors, there is abundant plenty of resources available. So the larger in size will be the fundamental niche, and realized niche there is a competition between the organism and limited resources are available, so it leads to the small area to occupy by the organism. It is considered as the fundamental niche subset of the fundamental niche is realized niche. Let's comes to the structure of an ecosystem. What is the structure of an ecosystem? As we seen in the first slide, the structure of an ecosystem consisting of both the biotic and abiotic factors. The biotic factors and abiotic factors. In the biotic factors, we know that it is divided into producers, consumers and decomposers. In consumer level, it is divided into primary consumers, secondary consumers and the tertiary consumers. And let's go and see in the detail. Producers are the green autotrophic plants which are helps in formation of food by using of sunlight and helps in the formation of their own food. They are not dependent on anyone. These are the primary producers which helps in the providing energy to the again further trophic levels. And consumers are divided into primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer and quaternary consumer. Primary consumers are the organisms which feeds on the producers. The producers are the single autotrophic organisms or the green plants which provide the energy for further consumers. In the secondary consumers feeds upon the primary consumer, and the tertiary consumers feeds upon the secondary consumers, and quaternary feeds upon the tertiary consumers. Primary consumers are also known as the herbivores. The herbivores are known as the herbivores like cows, goats and all grazing organisms will be there, no, that are comes under the primary consumers. And decomposers include saprophytic fungi and bacteria. They directly feeds upon the dead decay organisms. If an organism is died in the environment, they used to be decomposed within the few days. How it is possible? It is possible only by the fungi and different organisms which feed upon them. They are known as the decomposers. They helps in the nutrient recycling process. And let's come to the abiotic factors. They are, as we know, that it includes air, water, soil, mineral, sunlight, temperature, nutrients, wind, altitude, turbidity, etc. are comes under the abiotic factors. Let's see the functional role of an ecosystem. The functions of the ecosystem include the essential, they helps in the support of life, and which helps in the restoring the stability and maintaining the stability of an ecosystem. They are responsible for the recycling of nutrients and minerals between the biotic and abiotic components. As we know that there is a balance between the trophic levels is maintained by the ecosystem functions only, and the cycling of minerals takes place in the biosphere by the saprotrophs or decomposers, as we seen in the previous slide. And abiotic and abiotic components in the organisms are components that involves in the exchange of organism energy. The energy from one trophic level to another trophic level are exchanged by the different types of decomposers. Let's come to the food chain. What is food chain primarily? Food chain, the transfer of energy between the organisms, one organism to another organism through the eating process is known as the food chain. The process of eating and being eaten by the organism is known as the food chain. First of all, let's see in this picture, the tropic level, the primary producers that are green plants is eaten by the grasshopper is eaten by the mouse or rat, the rat is being eaten by the snake is eaten by the last and quaternary and tertiary and quaternary tropic level, that is top consumer, that is the eagle. The food chain is divided into further different types of food chain. They are grazing food chain, saprophytic food chain or detritus food chain, and the parasitic food chain. Let's come to each one in detail. The grazing food chain. Grazing food chain is the food chain which starts with the green plants that are eaten by the primary producers, primary consumers, that are herbivores, and बाद में they are consumed by the secondary consumers, and so on, tertiary and quaternary and so on. This is the process of being eaten, and in this the saprophytic or detritus food chain starts with the detritus organism like dead organic matter that are occupied by the fungi and bacteria. After that are eaten by the further organisms. And the parasitic food chain, as we know that food chain, the large organism either producer or consumer exported by therefore the food passes to the smaller organism. Suppose in the parasitic food chain, a person, a human being got disease by some of the ectoparasites or endoparasites. A lot of parasites will feed on that body, and they produce their number into multiple, and they lives in the body of an organism. In that there is no sudden death of an organism takes place, but dhire it will take the time to make the person or make the organism to be affected. This is known as the parasitic food chain, and this is the today's session. We will see in the further classes. This is the today's session. Thank you so much. This is your Ram Sai, and please like, subscribe and share to so that it will reach to the more people. Thank you so much. This is your Ram Sai.